I'm from Bangladesh, a country in South Asia, in crisis. What kind of crisis? To be frank, what exactly is going on? Why are so many students getting killed just for protesting? Now, because YouTube is a rigorous platform regarding politics and stuff, I can't go into details, but I'll be talking about the main points and why Bangladesh needs all of our help. Let's go back to 2018. An identical movement took place in the country. Basically, students protested against a quota system which reserved most government jobs for descendants of freedom fighters, specifically the ones who fought during the Bangladesh War of Independence in 1971. After Bangladesh's independence from Pakistan, the government, backed by founding father Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at the time, introduced this exact quota system. This system was discriminatory and unfair as the percentage of government jobs reserved for freedom fighter descendants was 56%. Critics called it partisan as it minimized the availability of merit-based jobs. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had to scrap the system that year, making all jobs merit-based. Politics in Bangladesh are as fucked as ever. It's like the US with just two political parties to choose from. Bangladesh is dominated by the Awami League, a leftist political party. On the other side of the political spectrum, there's the BNP. No, not the British far-right party. And don't worry, the BNP we have isn't fascist. Nonetheless, both parties are extremely corrupt. So corrupt that Bangladesh is among the most corrupt countries in Asia. If you dare to criticize the Bangladeshi government, you're ending up in hot water. I, unfortunately, even dubbed my own country the North Korea of South Asia. I've been out of the country for years for personal reasons, and still am, and although I see huge swaths of development, it's still not as good as the likes of developed countries. Fast forward to June 2024, the High Court of the country overturned the 2018 decision, calling it illegal. This brought the quota system back, angering students, primarily from universities and colleges. They see government jobs as more stable and having higher pay. Initially peaceful, protests started to become violent as soon as the police clashed with the students. This resulted in students being beaten and tortured. Awami League student wing, the Chhatru League, literally meaning student league, joined, backing the quota. The Hasina-backed government also happened to support the quota. Students were also shot and killed. History, unfortunately, repeats itself often. The whole country entered into chaos mode. Protests have become increasingly violent, despite the Supreme Court promising to decide on the matter in August. Universities closed, the state-owned television network Bangladesh Television's headquarters were subject to an arson attack, the internet and electricity in the country shut down, and later the whole country shut down. It's a sign that things are becoming exactly like what happened in its neighbor Myanmar after the military coup over there 3 years ago. However, it might be possible that things would go the same way as Sri Lanka, where its president and prime minister, both of which were from the Rajapaksa family, were forced to resign after mass protests. Things have gotten so bad that we got called Rajakars by the government just because we asked for equality. The term Rajakar refers to someone who campaigned and acted against the struggle for Bengali sovereignty during the 1971 war, primarily by supporting the Pakistani military's atrocities against Bengali people. This is unironically like how Israel uses Hamas to justify its ongoing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza after Hamas held hundreds of Israelis, as well as foreigners, hostage. I understand that it's indeed bad, but collective punishment and genocide against innocent Palestinians who never had anything to do with the kidnappings is even worse. Hundreds of protesters, including students, were murdered at the hands of Sheikh Hasina's government. It has become crystal clear that Bangladesh is the North Korea of South Asia. However, the Supreme Court then decided that 5% of government jobs would be reserved for freedom fighter descendants. They have forgotten that we wouldn't be forgiving them this easily after so many students were murdered. The protests went on, this time against the apparent dictatorship. Bangladesh needs your help. Situations are getting grim, and we Bangladeshis need each other to stand with freedom of speech and press and to reform the country. As a huge amount of y'all are foreigners, you can also voice your support and protest against the killings of students in my country and call for a concrete end to the quota system. The system that would further slow down the country's economic growth and situations would become even worse. We also need to call for an end to the dictatorship that the country has been ruled under since 2009. I, whose own grandfather fought in the 1971 war as a freedom fighter, was disgusted after seeing this unequal and shitty measure being brought back. I didn't have any idea about this when it was first removed, as I didn't know much about politics at the time, until now.
Just as the genocides in Gaza, Xinjiang, the Rakhine State, and many places are ongoing, wars in Syria, Sudan, Ukraine, and other countries are ongoing, Yemen and Afghanistan have been facing years of the worst humanitarian crises, Myanmar protesting against the gruesome military regime, we also can't forget about what's happening in Bangladesh. Universities are not meant to be covered in bloodshed. Spread the word. Put an end to the quota, reform the country, justice to the students, down with the Awami League, and end corruption. Save Bangladesh, save democracy, and justice will prevail.